Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back, everyone, to the YouTube channel. My name is KJ, and this is my spoiler review for the new series on Disney Plus called Marvel's Television Wonder Man Episode 2. And this is my spoiler review. So if you have not seen this, please pause this. And before you go, hit the like button, aka the thumbs up button. That would help my YouTube channel grow, and I truly appreciate that. And thank you guys in advance. Come back and let me know what you think about Episode 2 of Marvel's Wonder Man. What's your thoughts? What's your Marvel theories? Let me know in the comments below. So again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned? No. Let's get into it. This show episode starts off showing what happened to Trevor and why he's helping Agent P. And the thing is that we know in Shang-Chi that Trevor was over there, not in America. And he was taken out of prison, basically. So he didn't finish his whole sentence. And Agent P gave him two choices. He can go back to prison and finish that up, even though Trevor told him, like, hey, I'm a changed man. And throughout this episode 2, that he's been sober for 13 years, which is awesome, you know. And or his second option is to help Agent P and get and spy on Simon Williams, which he chooses that second option because at the time, him and Trevor are not quite good friends yet, but we see this episode of these two becoming good friends, even best friends at times. But what I find this is my only complaint about this scenario, and it's not even that big of a deal. I just think that Marvel Studios and Marvel Television, whoever you want to blame, or just Kevin Feige, right? There's throughout the Disney Plus series with Marvel projects, and there's some movies, but to be fair with the movies, they weren't the main plot at the times, but a lot of these secret agents who are like another version or based off S.H.I.E.L.D. or even Hydra in a sense, they never really have an ending to this, right? Like, they're there, they do their job, and I don't care, like, in a way where it's like, oh, I'm not annoyed by it, but it's kind of like, what is what's the end game to this? Like, what's the point? What's this building up? Like, I understand, like, I said in episode 1 spoiler review that I think that they're planting the seeds of there's like this potential story where it's humans without mutant powers against mutants, just hating, right? And are just trying to shame people with ability or superpowers, and they're not using it to be superheroes or whatever, or just hating on superheroes and vigilantes and stuff. But this, to me, reminds me of why, since they started doing like series for Disney Plus, the streaming service, that there's really nothing there to make, I don't believe, in my opinion, to make people even care or remember about like these agents, right? These secret agents. Now, the exceptional ones are the ones in the movies because, number one, I think that it's there for the movie's the purpose of the movie, and you can get away with it. But to me, on a show, now there's got to be something really, has to be a really good story, a really good reason, and a good why, right? Like, especially when this character debuted in the Spider-Man No Way Home and then made it all the way to Miss Marvel and now this, but there was an agent that I don't think died. I don't think this agent died in the WandaVision. But where's that person at? But where's the agent from the Secret Invasion? Where's that one? Now, there's an agent from the Ant-Man and Wasp and Ant-Man Quantumania and the one in in Vision. But he's the same guy. He's okay because, and I forget his name, so I apologize. But he's the guy that was watching Ant-Man while he was on house arrest. And then he shows up again in the WandaVision series, which that's fine. That's fine. He obviously makes sense because we kind of know his reason why he did it, and it was pretty much his job. And obviously Scott Lang broke the law, right? So that makes sense. But other than that, any other agent, even in besides Nick Fury too, of course, we know why he does what he does, because he's a secret spy that has secrets on secrets within the secrets of the secrets, right? So that makes sense. But these, Agent P, just doesn't make sense. Unless he's going to report back to, one of the agents from the Black Panther or the Wakanda series. Not series, but movie. Wakanda Forever. Okay, I can live with that. But this one is just, now it's not adding up. And I don't think, to me, they're just, I don't know why they're adding it. And it's not making any real Marvel connection. But again, that's my only complaint about that, is just, it just feels, to see Agent P feels kind of unnecessary. But I also understand that they need an antagonism character for Wonder Man. So I get that. Not a big deal, but I'm just noticing that these agents that we're seeing within the past few years, they're not teaming up. We don't know if they know each other. We don't know if they even like each other. Are they in the same department? What's the deal? I'm not sure. So I'm hoping, out of all eight of these episodes, we get some kind of confirmation or hint or tease that, hey, don't sleep on these agents, because I feel like we can just sleep on them. And I don't think that's a good thing in a cinematic universe, in my opinion. But that's all I got to say about that. But back to this episode, he obviously, Trevor chooses to help and steal information. And so he gives him this ring, and it's tapped, and it's the thing where you just place on the person's computer, and it hacks in and steals all their information. And it's one of those type of things, which is a secret spy, secret agency thing. We've seen it all through the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Simon Williams is in a goofy comedy thing with Trevor, and they're both struggling in their own ways, because Simon is looking for a space to make these audition tapes. And so it's up to Trevor to try to convince Simon to take Trevor back to his apartment so that he can place the ring on a laptop or something, which I'm assuming it's the laptop. Or maybe it's Simon's phone, who knows? Well, I do know, but but we see that, and this is where they kind of start bonding, and I really like that, because it's Trevor's an OG actor in a way of he's got experience, he's very seasonal, and Simon is new. He's new at being an actor, and so he can learn a lot. And I really like watching him learn, take his advice, and again, that's helping them become friends. And then Trevor even takes Simon to Joe Pantoliano's house, the actual actor Joe Pantoliano. And what I like about this, again, you're seeing a young actor learning from the OGs, and he's like under a learning tree. But then it gets a little bit sad because Joe Pantoliano is hating on Trevor, bringing up some old stuff that he's been through, but eventually Simon sticks up for Trevor, and they brought up some dark times again. But the one thing that I really like is Joe Pantoliano said something about acting's just a job, and Trevor stood up and said, "No, acting's not just a job. It's something you love to do. It's a passion." And Simon respects Trevor because being an actor or an actress, it means you love doing this. You love entertaining people. You love the cameras, the lighting. You love trying to be somebody that you're not and pretending to be somebody else. You like adding your own personality to a character in a movie or a show, and that's what's really cool. That's my favorite part about this show so far. It just talks about just being an actor in Hollywood and trying to get roles and auditions, and shows how you need to be in the right space, in the right mindset to do audition tapes, because it really depends how good that audition tape is to impress the director and the producer and stuff. Simon Williams is representing like people who are in this industry who just are trying to catch the big break. And that's tough because it all depends on your audition tapes. He's doing roles like in the auditions, like he's being a waiter, right? Or imagine you're a female and you got to portray a waitress in your audition tapes. He's overthinking it. He's struggling with it. He's trying to make it make sense. Sometimes we want to do it the way we think we should do it, but you got to learn in the acting world, in the Hollywood world, you got to do it the way the director wants you to do it. And it sounds simple just to read the lines, but sometimes that's really difficult. And when you don't have a lot of pull, and you don't have like a lot underneath your resume, you can't call those big. A big movie star could, but again, it's displaying, and I really like that. It's just showing what a young actor would struggle through, and I think that's cool. And auditioning, it's tough, it's nerve-wracking, but he finally says, "You know what, Trevor? Let's go back to my apartment." And they do the audition, and Trevor gets the information, and he sees the big wall on there because in this episode before, we see Simon was thinking about the reason why Simon didn't want to do in his apartment, because he was thinking about the breakup with his girlfriend. And the important thing is he got angry, not like the Incredible Hulk angry, but he got angry and his power just exploded like kaboom. And that's what it happened, and he put a blanket on his apartment wall. You're right, like, oh, that's like the landlord's not gonna notice that. But Trevor sees that and he plays it off, and I think too it shows like Trevor feels guilty, like he's making a friend and now he doesn't want to snitch on his friend. But the information that Agent P is looking for is there, and that's going to help Trevor stay out of prison. And so he's really in a dilemma of this whole thing. But that's what it is. And I think too, what's funny is that most of that stuff on Trevor's computer is just him doing audition tapes and practice stuff, right? Like to me, it's just showing again. It's just showing like Simon is not actually wanting to be a superhero and stuff. So the thought right now of him being a superhero is not inspiring him yet. You know, this is to me, besides She-Hulk, I think he's the second Marvel character that we've seen that's not even trying to be an Avenger. That's not trying to be a superhero. Yeah, you could say Wanda. You could say Wanda because she was the villain in Age of Ultron. Well, not the main villain, but she did help Ultron at first. And then she was the villain in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. But she was an Avenger. She wanted to be the superhero until Avengers Infinity War happened to her. So she kind of just left, but She-Hulk and Wonder Man right now, like Wonder Man particularly, he's really not thinking about becoming an Avenger. You know, Deadpool wants to be an Avenger. Wolverine is going to be an X-Men, right? But that's not Wonder Man right now. And so this episode and episode 1 so far, we're just watching. It's like watching a regular guy just trying to make it in the Hollywood, trying to catch a big break in the movie. So that's pretty cool. That's what I like about this. And I really like seeing Trevor used in these type of roles. Like, you know, it's definitely giving the Iron Man 3 vibes here too as well. You know, he's doing a villainous thing, but realistically he don't want to do it. He's only doing this by force. Right? You know, he was forced to do it in Iron Man 3. You know, they just drugged him up. Here, he's just trying to stay out of prison. Just being forced. So, it's going to be interesting and it's going to be sad. Like, I hope in time, like, their friendship doesn't end. I hope they don't end their friendship in this series. But if they do, I hope they can find a way to be friends later on in the next Marvel project within next year or the year after or whatever. So I hope their friendship does stay and come back together as bros, right? Like, that's what I'm hoping. But other than that, this was a really good episode. I liked it. They really showcase Simon again. Just the best part is, again, him just trying to be an actor, just him trying to live his dreams. And I also like just seeing Trevor being a good mentor. Like, you know, he's being a mentor. It's kind of like, you know, it reminds me of Loki, right? It's like Loki was the villain. Like, he was the jealous brother. Then he became the villain. And then he got redemption. Then Thanos took his life away. And then the multiverse Loki started in Endgame. And then he grew up and matured through the Loki season 1, season 2. And in a way, Loki is kind of like the mentor to the Sylvie, the female variant version of Loki. And now he's like, obviously he's the god of the multiverse or storytelling, whatever you want to call it. But it has that same vibe too for Trevor. Trevor now, since Shang-Chi, I would say, is a mentor, trying to be a mentor. And he's going to be a good mentor for Simon as far as Hollywood acting. And so we're going to watch Trevor have new layers and show a side of him. And he's going to be there for somebody like Simon. And I wonder who else. And I would love to see him reunite with Shang-Chi too. Or Shang-Chi, I should say. So I'm hoping that too when it comes to Trevor. Like, let's watch him grow. Let's watch him become a mentor. And let him be like the good friend for Simon and stuff. Like, and maybe he could be good friends for like the West Coast Avengers if they ever do one like that in a live action. So if I had to give this episode of 1 out of 10, I'm definitely going to give this an 8. Really good. It's on a roll. This show's on a roll. Like, back-to-back good episodes. Like, I know a lot of people are upset, like, it doesn't feel like a Marvel show. But, you know, not every Marvel character is inspired to be, again, a superhero. This is kind of like a mutant story in a way, if you want to be technical about it. There's just some mutants that just want to have a regular life. They understand they have, like, a special ability or a power, but they're not trying to use it. They just want to be able to go to work, pay their bills, have a family, watch their kids grow, or if they're a young mutant and they're kids, they just want to go to school, have a good high school, just be teenagers or whatever. Like, that's a mutant story in the Marvel thing. And this is what he's not a mutant. You could claim him as a mutant, but he's just trying to live his life. He's not really trying to be Iron Man. He's not trying to be Spider-Man or Captain America. He's just trying to be a Hollywood star, you know, and that's pretty normal for him without using his superpower. So that's what I like, but it does always steer back to that, makes it feel like a Marvel show where you're like, okay, yep, this is a superhero show. There's your Marvel reference, you know, type thing. So I like that. I think they got that well balanced out based on episode 1 and this episode 2. So I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you guys are enjoying this as well. But this is my spoiler review. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe. Hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace out.